This is something that I didn't think existed. This is something that I didn't think I would ever be able to experience. And having done it now, I feel extremely confident to go into the industry, to sell myself, to work hard and be a confident horseman and a cowboy.
Hey there, cowboy. What's your name?
Ian Lucas.
And where are you from?
I'm from Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona.
Ian, who's your favorite horse you rode?
Favorite horse? Smokey, for sure.
Why Smokey?
He was real calm, and yet he didn't take much to get him going. He just needed someone who was firm.
Ian, how was your time at the ACA?
It was incredible. Something that I think kind of puts it into perfect light, I guess would be the right word, is that it's an answered prayer, for sure. This is something that I didn't think existed. This is something that I didn't think I would ever be able to experience. And having done it now, I feel extremely confident to go into the industry, to sell myself, to work hard and be a confident horseman and a cowboy.
That's really cool. So, why did you come here?
I came here because since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to be a cowboy. I've looked up to cowboys my whole life. I had a great uncle who was a cowboy back in Arizona. Much taller than me, much greater man. But they were always heroes in my mind. And maybe that was part of why I felt it was untouchable for me. Is that person, that image, that job was too honorable for me to attain, or at least too skilled. And more on the practical level, I just didn't know where to start, or the skills that I needed to work on a ranch.
So with that in mind, what are the goals from here? When you drive back home today, and what's the goal?
Goal is to get home safe, see my kids, kiss them, love on them, my wife, to bring back all this knowledge that I have and teach it to my son, my daughter, my wife, and anyone else in my family that wants to learn. But as far as practicality with a career and a job, I'm hoping to find an opportunity to work with my wife on a ranch, to work as a ranch hand, as a cowboy. Whether that starts out as a dude ranch for myself, or doing a cattle drive, or breaking colts, I don't care. I want to be a cowboy. I want to do all of it. I do have kind of a bucket list thing I want to do in my life. I want to break a Mustang. I want it to be my horse. That's my dream. That's kind of a end goal, but I just want to be in the cowboy industry. I want to do this. I want my son to grow up in it. I want to teach him what I wanted to learn when I was a kid. Yeah, that's kind of the goals.
That's awesome. Hey, your son loves horses too, right?
Yes, sir.
So, Ian, I have a question for you.
Okay.
There are people from all over the United States and all over the world that watch some of our videos. And imagine there's a rancher out here watching this video, watching you, and likes you, and might be interested in having you on their place. What would you tell them about yourself?
I tell them that my work effort is going to be endless, essentially. I'm going to always put in the hard work, and I'm always going to do the right thing. And part of that, I can't really take credit for. I was raised in a Christian family, in a Christian home, and my whole life, no matter what the situation was, whether it was picking up a little piece of trash like we talk about sometimes around ranches and just taking care of things, or making sure your horse is clean and ready to go and no saddle sores, or at least they're taken care of. That kind of stuff weighs heavy on me when I don't do it. And I think that's part of my convictions as a Christian, is just I want to honor God in everything I do. So that's not something I can even necessarily take personal credit for. It's just something that I am convicted about every day, is doing the best I can to honor the Lord. As far as for a rancher and how to tell them what I could be for them, a sponge, a clean sponge. I know and understand that I have limited experience, and I understand I'm 23 years old, but at the same time, I am extremely confident in what I do know. I'm able to bring some things to the table that I think some other 23-year-olds aren't, and that's being in situations where life and death is on the line, whether it's yourself or others or people you work with. And I know that those situations can happen. You can get Western, and not only am I prepared for that, but I'm excited for it. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be a part of. I want to learn. I want to be tested, and I want to do that. So.
Hell of an answer. That's good. I really like it. How you put doing that, honor the Lord. And I like that. So, got a couple questions about the academy after that one.
All right.
What is something new you learned here?
Horsemanship would probably be the biggest. All the skills, I mean, everything. You heard my first interview. I have 0 ranch experience. So from learning how to set fence, throw a rope, waterways, and where you can get that from, and how to manage a ranch in those areas. All that stuff was new, obviously, but I've also worked in industries like landscaping and forklift driving, operating heavy vehicles, that kind of stuff in the past. So it wasn't completely foreign to me, but the horsemanship skills was completely foreign to me. And that's, I think, was probably the biggest gap that I've bridged since being here, is from 0 experience even really being around a horse to getting on any horse and feeling confident that no matter how this horse is going to operate, or just his social cues, that I'm going to be in tune with him by the end of the day.
That's cool. What was your favorite part of the academy?
Horsemanship for sure. I love being around the horses. I love that that's a core part of what being a cowboy is sitting in a saddle. I think I was talking to Miss Sydney about it last night, but just, I don't think anyone truly understands the bond that you can have between an animal until you're around a horse, because there's really nothing like it. We all are very close, I believe, with our pets or animals, whether that be a cat or a dog or what have you, but with a horse it's just different, and they work for you and you work for them, and you have each other's back, and I don't know, there's something really special about that, and that's how I want to spend the rest of my life.
That is special. What was the most challenging part of the academy for you?
Man, I wish my answers could change. Horsemanship, that was the most challenging. The first day getting on a horse, I thought for sure, I can take command, I can take charge, and that's just a part of it, I guess. Is just you learn how to, like, the respect of a horse, and where you need to respect them and where they need to respect you. And I believe that's on your website, and that was something that really got me hooked. Was just understanding where you have to respect a horse, take care of a horse, and where he has to respect you. And now that I have that understanding and that foundation, I really do truly believe, and I don't mean to sit on Mount Stupid, but that I could get on any horse confidently. And it may be extremely difficult, and it may take a lot of time and patience, and those things I'm willing to give, but I'll be able to get in tune with that horse.
That's cool. I like that. So, you didn't grow up in ranching.
No, sir.
What got the bug in you?
I really don't know. And to be honest with you, I think it was a desire God put into me from real early. And I think that, the first image I got to see that was my great uncle, old cowboy in Arizona. That was the first person I was able to kind of see that in, but I don't even think it really came from him. I think it came from the Lord. I think that he put this desire in me from a young age, and it really has never left me. And you can ask my family that, because from a young kid, I used to say things like, I want to own my own country, and I want to be on horses. And I was 7 years old and had no idea what I was talking about. But now I'm 23 years old, and here I am doing the same thing, pursuing the same thing, wanting the same thing. And I've tried to not necessarily shake it, but I guess life has tried to shake it. It's just, it hasn't been possible. There was no way. I looked for jobs, didn't see any. Had opportunities to do other things, and decided that maybe that wasn't possible. And I think the Lord has really kind of led and guided my life to this point to help me to see that it's possible, and that he wants it for me. And he wants it for my family. And I think that's one of the coolest parts about my life so far, is that I've had desires of my own and things I want to pursue, including ranching, including being a cowboy, becoming bona fide. But what I didn't expect was that this would be the desire of my family. This wasn't something that was a prerequisite for my wife, really. I had to explain to her before we got married that these are things that I wanted to do, but who knows? And that's where it was left. But now I've got a 3-year-old son, I've got a 6-month-old baby girl, and and my wife, and each and every one of them I can see that this is exactly, I mean, obviously my 6-month-old girl's little, but my son never stops talking about this stuff, and my wife even more so. And for me, that was kind of a really big confirmation for me in my faith, that this isn't something that's just a fleeting desire or something that's selfish, really. It's something that I can pursue, take care of my family, and know that they're going to be just as blessed as I am doing it.
Getting bona fide. What was your favorite quote of the week?
It's never too early to get Western. That was my favorite.
That's a good one. So Ian.
Yes, sir.
You were undeniably a leader in your class. How did you get into that role, and what was it like being a guy that your classmates look to for direction?
I think a big part of that comes from people in my life that I've seen, that probably 80 to 90% of the time they lead by example. And that's just something I grew up around, right? And it's part of the people I've worked for, bosses I've had, good bosses. Understanding basically the concept of when there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. And I've seen also in situations in my in my life where I want to be an Indian because I know that'll be helpful. But sometimes if you sit as an Indian, there's too many chiefs, everybody's going to fail. And so taking charge in certain ways, whether that's just an example or just saying, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. Here's the plan. If we need to change it, we can change it, but we need to do something about it. And I don't know. I think really I can't really say there's anything personally. It's just stuff I've learned, people I've worked with, that leading by example and working hard and right back to God, really. That's like that conviction that I have to work hard and do well it comes from a desire to honor God and bless Him, and He's ultimately who I'm going to report to at the end, and He's ultimately who my bosses report to. So I want to do right by Him, and I know if I'm doing right by Him, I'll do right by my boss.
That's an incredible answer. Did you learn anything about yourself this week?
Yeah, I learned how easy it is to get anxious and let fear kind of take over. That was probably the first day on a horse. And I think a big part of that comes from experience, where I just didn't know how to use my hands, I didn't know how to use my feet, or my body, or my mind, or my eyes, any of it and all of it. But another part of that comes from just determination and trust. And a big part of that, again, is my faith. And because I do believe that God sent me here and put me here, and He's called me to pursue this, I can read things like "Fear thou not," and He's with me, and that I know that I don't need to fear on that horse, and that God already has my time written down. I'm not going to do anything to change that unless I do something stupid, so I don't plan on doing anything stupid.
That's a good way to put it. Is there anything about the Academy that you just totally didn't expect?
I guess I didn't expect how gorgeous it would be. I was so focused and hyper-fixated on just wanting to be a cowboy. I wanted to get here. I wanted to learn the skills. I wanted to do the job. What I didn't expect is how much I would enjoy just being out here. Of course, I miss my family. I miss my kids. I miss my wife. But there's nothing like Colorado mountains. It's amazing. And drinking from a fresh spring. That kind of stuff, it's amazing. And it truly makes you grateful for life.
I agree, it does. So, what would you say to somebody if they ask you, should I go to the Academy?
Absolutely. I'd say if they had an inkling or a spark or an idea to go, and they have the means and the ability to go. I think that even now, with the understanding I have of how close the industry is, and it's not so hard to reach, even without being coming to the American Cowboy Academy, I would still absolutely say come, because last night, like we were talking about, the gap of understanding, that gap of no knowledge to I can do yada 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 X, Y, and Z, is even in a week you learn so much that I feel like I can confidently go to a rancher and display myself with confidence and be a valued employee. I understand now that a big part of that does have to do with character. And I've always understood that, even as a role as a leader, but obviously skill is necessary. And I would say if you have any desire to come to the American Cowboy Academy, to come, because it will open your eyes to just how close the industry is within your reach, and it'll give you the skills and abilities to be confident in that and not feel like you're stumbling your way through. Or it also save you a lot of time. You know, come to the American Cowboy Academy, you spend a week, you learn more than 24 different skills, and you can go out into the industry and be very familiar with everything that you're going to put your hands on.
I appreciate hearing that. 2 more questions,
All right.
and then it's all over.
I try to make them short.
Now, you say whatever you want. I really like what you've been saying and sharing, and I appreciate that. Imagine there's a young man out there watching this video that is inspired by you. What advice would you give him about life?
Okay. If it was about life, I would say find Lord Jesus, because there's no one that loves you more and wants to take care of you more. And if you think that you know what's best for you, you don't. He does. And if this industry is what's best for you and you follow him, he'll bring you here. Even not necessarily in the sense of even what's best for you, but if you really want to do this, God loves you. He wants to provide those things for you, just like your father, a good father would. He wants to bring those things to you just as I want to do it for my son. And if that's something that's on your heart, it's on your mind, find the Lord Jesus, because I'll tell you one thing, it helps a heck of a lot when it comes to pursuing things in life, whether it's your career, whether it's your family or your relationships. He's not hard to find. He just asks that you reach out. He's been reaching out. So that's what I would give as life advice, because there's no one better to go to than him, in my opinion. He's helped me through many things, and I know he will continue to, and a big part of that was coming here.
Last one. This is your interview, your time capsule that you can look back on. Someday your son will watch this video, probably, and you show him, this was the academy however long ago. You turn back, watch it in 2 years, 2 months, 2 weeks, 20 years. Is there anything that you want to solidify in time, and maybe just say to the people watching?
It's never too early to get cowboy. I think that's another really good saying I love. And this industry, at least right now, sometimes for a lot of people, at least where I come from, seems like real hard to reach, almost like a fantasy. I think you said that a couple times, and it's true. It does seem that way, but it's not. It's not the reality. And I think a big part of what it means to be at the Cowboy Academy is that really there's nothing that you don't put your mind to you can't do. Just hard work and patience, and I'm hoping to learn that taming a Mustang. But yeah, I'm not, kind of lost for words as far as time cancel. I don't think I have anything good enough to say to keep for eternity, but yeah, work hard, love God, and you'll do good.
Anything else you want to add?
Thank you so much for having me. This has been an amazing opportunity and truly a blessing that word for word answered prayers. Word for word. So thank you so much.
We're glad to have you again.